Hey y'all, welcome to Just Ember and Me. Well, today, of course, it's just me. I wanted to come on here and just talk to you guys about the vacuum cleaner method that I'm using as a Revair Dupe to dry and stretch my daughter's 4C hair. I got a lot of kind of different feedback in regards to using this method, and some good and some kind of, curious, I would say. And so I wanted to make a follow-up video just kind of talking about why I chose to do that and what my thoughts are about how it worked. If you check out the other video, you'll see me actually using it on her hair, but this video is just kind of to talk about it. So if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and click subscribe, like this video, and give me some comments and some feedback on what your thoughts are and if any of this information was helpful. There's more to come. I'm gonna really build out this page to be about not just hair, but DIYs, different things that me and my daughter do on a day-to-day basis, just to share with you guys and hopefully just make the internet a little bit more friendly these days. So thank you again for being here. Let's get into the video, shall we? Yes, we shall. So in my other video, I shared a little bit about this in regards to why I purchased the vacuum cleaner instead of getting the Revair. One reason is the Revair is too much. It costs too much. It's $400, and I know that they have sales sometimes or payment plans, but I just can't see myself paying more than my car payment for a blow dryer. I just can't wrap my head around that. There's not too many things that I would pay $400 for anyway. And so with that, I just kind of thought of another creative way that I could still get the results that I wanted for my daughter's hair without, essentially having to invest that much money in something that I felt wasn't necessarily worth that. And it's not a diss to Revair or anything like that. I think it's a phenomenal product, and if I could, I would definitely get it. So kudos to those who can afford it, and kudos to those who feel like they've used it and it works effectively for them. So I don't have anything against them at all. But at the same time, me as a single mom of two, I definitely am looking for a bargain. So I don't know why they haven't come up with a smaller version or something that can be more affordable, but at any rate, this is what I chose to do. Now, if you don't agree with it, if you think it's silly, if you whatever your thoughts are, that's fine. For me, it was just something that I tried, right? So to give you an idea of my daughter's hair, she has a lot of split ends and a lot of damaged hair, and it's from heat damage, because when she cut her hair from locks, she would blow dry it out to get it more stretched, to get braids, and braids is usually her protective style when she goes to school. So she's in school on and off. She has different breaks because she's on track out, and when she's in school, she has her hair in braids, and when she's out of school, she usually just lets it rest, right, and kind of let it breathe a little bit. So we're talking about a frequent pattern of getting braids, so a frequent pattern of using heat on her hair. And while we use, heat protectant and things like that, it's still the constant manipulation and the braids and things like that, I feel like really affected not only the ends of her hair, meaning the split ends, but just the texture of her hair in general is really dried out, and it's just brittle. It's very, you could tell that it's damaged. And it started out really soft prior to her getting braids, when I used to just 2-strand twist it. But then after that, kind of a year long of doing that, I can tell the difference in her hair. So to kind of reset and start over with doing something more healthy, I set out to not put heat in her hair anymore. And I came across the Revair. I know the Revair has been out for a little while, but I knew nothing about it. So I came across that and I was like, oh wow, this is a phenomenal idea. Like, and it seems to work. I saw it on like Instagram or something. And so right away I was looking into purchasing one, and lo and behold, it was $400. And I'm like, is there not another option? Like, what are we doing here? So it made me investigate more what the Revair actually is. And when I started to look into it more, it was like, wait a minute, this is literally a vacuum, you know, like even the unit itself looks like a vacuum cleaner. And so that's when it kind of dawned on me, well, let me try, you know. But funny part is I didn't have a vacuum cleaner because my son broke the one that I had. And so I've just been borrowing one for quite some time when I need to vacuum. And so I was like, well, I need a vacuum anyway, so maybe this is a sign. And so I looked into getting some vacuum cleaners. And so here we are. I'm going to talk to you about a little bit about why I chose the one I chose. Now, again, if you check out my previous video, you'll see that I also kind of explained a little bit about this too, but I wanted to go in a little more details for those who had some more questions or anything like that. But the reason why I chose the one I chose, so that if you're thinking about trying this method, you can kind of consider these things, right? I chose this one. It's made by Eureka. It's actually called Eureka Mighty. I just thought that was a funny, peculiar name. But and it's really small. You can see it's small enough to fit on my lap here. And don't mind my hospital socks. Hey, they keep you warm and they keep you from slipping. So we keep them around here, all right? And you know, it's just a regular vacuum cleaner. But the thing about this one, why I chose this one, is it has bags inside. So I'm not gonna open it all the way because I have been using it. I don't want everything to fall out. But so you can see in here that it actually has bags. And the rest of it is just an empty component. Like there's no filtration system in here, you know, with the spinning and all of that, like the techie ones are. It has an air filter in the back here, but everything that you actually vacuum comes through the bag. So I had someone mention that they were nervous about it getting wet, like the vacuum cleaner getting wet. And I considered that too. Which is why I chose one that has bags, so that I can, instead of the vacuum cleaner itself like getting wet, I can actually just remove the bags to prevent it from, like, you know, mildew. Because I've had one of those filtered, you know, systems with the one that spins and all of that, where it got wet because I vacuumed up something that was wet. And it caused it to smell, you know, it started to stink because it got everything in there wet. So this one does not do that because there's nothing in here to get wet other than the bag, which the bag can be removed. Now let's talk more about the tubes. So I obviously chose one that had a long tube, right? One of those kinds that kind of you could reach up and vacuum your curtains or the corners of your walls or whatever. And that was so that I can reach my daughter and I can walk around her head and, you know, maneuver like that. Another part that was important to me was to not cross-contaminate. So I don't want to vacuum the floor, meaning, that I'm vacuuming up like dirty things and crumbs or whatever. And you can see here that the vacuum cleaner, I just used it like yesterday. And you can see it's kind of dusty, right? I don't know if that's gonna focus in on, yeah, there we go. Okay, you see it's dirty. So I don't wanna obviously put her hair in this, right? Now I could remove this because it is removable, which is another important part. It's removable so that I can wash it, right? And clean it and clean the tube out, which is also important and equally easy for me to do because of the type of vacuum cleaner it is. But if I don't have time to do that, I have 2 extension tubes that I can put onto here, and this part has never been touched by any dirt. You know, I haven't used this part. Like, this is only the tube for her hair. And so I posted a video on my Instagram with just using this, like using it long like this. And it looked kind of crazy. And, you know, people were like, girl, what in the world are you doing? But that's why, is because using it with the long extension allows me not to have to use this part, which has obviously dust on it. And this part is completely clean. I haven't used it, hasn't touched nothing. But case in point, I can also just really clean it and sanitize it. But even if I do that, I just can't, you know, I'm still going to use the extension when needed, because I just feel like it just makes sense not to have her hair, you know, in the place where I sucked up random dirt and dust. That is sort of my reasoning behind using this particular vacuum cleaner. Again, it's Eureka Mighty. You know, I might actually because I do have a Amazon store, so I might like put it in my Amazon storefront kind of thing, so that you can easily find it, and then I'll put the link below this video, and that way you guys can see if it works for you, you know, and make it easier for you to be able to choose which one works. Now, some of the cons, I guess I would say, is that I did notice that the Revair has a larger like tube, maybe like it's larger for more hair, but you can see this one is smaller, right? Like it's a small tube. So you do, you know, have to use smaller pieces of hair. My daughter says differently, that you don't have to. She tried it herself and she was like, you don't have to do that. But I think that it would be better to use it, like it'll dry more. The other part is there is no heat. So, but that was a plus for me, because I didn't want heat on her hair, as to why this made sense, because even the Revair actually uses a low amount of heat, but I didn't want any heat on her hair, because I'd rather her hair air dry. And when I do it, like when I 2-strand twist it or flat twist it or anything like that, I usually let it air dry anyway. So air drying was the ideal situation for me, because I think it's healthier for my daughter's hair. But she likes to have it stretched, because she likes to wear it in a big fro. Sometimes it makes it easier to maintain for her, and also it makes it easier if we're braiding or styling or something like that. It gives me a little bit more length for me to work with. So stretching it with no heat was the ideal scenario as well. And what this essentially does is the same thing a Revair does. It draws the water out of the hair. And so you hold it there for about, you know, I would say maybe 30 seconds or so, maybe like a minute. And that draws all the water out, and it stretches the hair at the same time. And so when it comes down to if the drying part worked, yes, her hair was completely dry. I wouldn't go from completely like drenched hair, like dripping, you know, to using this. Like I would kind of let it drain or towel dry a little bit. I wouldn't go with completely drenched hair and then use a vacuum cleaner. I wouldn't do that. I don't think you probably would do that with a Revair. But, you know, it did dry the hair completely. Like there was no water in her hair after using this. And that was with no heat. And it did stretch it. It didn't make it bone straight. I wasn't looking for that, but it didn't make it bone straight. It was still, I would say like, you know, a poofy fro. But it was stretched. So you could tell her hair was elongated. You could tell that her curls had been stretched. It was not like that tight curl pattern that she had. So if you're looking for something that is more bone straight, like you don't want your hair to be curly at all or textured at all, then you may want to go for like something else with heat. But for the purpose of what we were looking for, this was perfect, and it worked exactly the way we hoped that it would. I was honestly shocked myself, and I'm definitely going to keep using this method. And it's good because once like I detangle her hair, if it's not a wash day, but I'm use something damp in her hair to detangle it, and then I go in with this, you know, I can do it all over again without the long-winded process. The other con is it took a long time. It was my first time using it in the video, so I had to kind of figure out what my groove was with it, and still learning that because we just trying this for the first time. But I would say this seemed to have taken longer only because I feel like I was using smaller portions of hair. So that is about all that I have in regards to using the vacuum cleaner as a Revair dupe. Let me know in the comments if any of this was helpful or if you have any other questions about it. And yeah, if you feel like this was a good idea and you think somebody else could benefit from it, make sure you hit like, make sure you share, and come back for more. Thank you guys so much for supporting our channel. We already got a few subscribers, and the feedback from the previous video is phenomenal. I really am shocked and surprised that it kind of like really helped some people and gave some people some new creative ideas on how to manage their 4C hair, or just manage your hair in general, whatever hair type you have. And yeah, I'm just thankful that we are able to share our everyday life and stories and things that we do to kind of make it work, right? And that seems to be helpful for other people. So thank you for watching this video to the end. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.